Good day, everybody. Welcome to week 7. I want to tell you a little bit about the work for this week and kind of point you backwards a little bit. I noticed that some of you may have missed some of the information regarding the revisions. I've received a few of the summary response texts that did not highlight the revision, so that's definitely something you want to do. And so if you were one of those people, I left your grade the same and gave you a message saying, please, highlight your revisions. What I noticed was that some people didn't do some very simple things, and I had something like this happen before. And so what you need to do, and I made this comment to a couple or a few of you, is that when you go in and you go to view the comments on your assignment, there is a link there that says view rubric assessment or something like that. It's in the upper right hand part of the screen where you submitted your work. If you don't look at that, you will not see the narrative comments I typed up for you. I do reasonably minimal technological scribbles of crossing out and adding stuff in on your document yourself, and that is where you have to click on the view feedback link, which is inside the box where your essay will appear. The view rubric assessment, or whatever the words are, I can't remember off the top of my head, is slightly above that and over to the right. And without that, you won't realize, you won't see the comments I've given you. And this is just one of the stupid things that Canvas doesn't do, or one of the stupid things Canvas does. I taught a previous online class and I had the same problem. I didn't realize students had to click on the view feedback link, and so they were ignoring my comments, and I thought, what's wrong with these people? Then I realized that Canvas is stupid. And what appears naturally for me, just when I open up my view, it's all there. So I see the scribbles on the page, I see the rubric off to the right, and the comments I provided. You don't, as students, unless you click the view feedback and view rubric assessment or whatever the heck it says. So for those of you who either didn't address those comments and it seemed like you didn't revise, or those of you who didn't submit a revision or a highlighted revision, and several of you did not revise at all, I guess you figured the 25 points wasn't worth the trouble. And honestly, it may not be worth the trouble. I don't know if those points will actually make a difference on your final grade, but if you kind of skip those little opportunities, that probably will make a difference on your final grade. So anyway, go back, have a look at that information. If you want to revise, let me know. Like I said, for many, I left the old grade the same. And so when you resubmit, it will give me an alert that I need to go pay attention to that. So that's why I do it like that. Okay, so that's one from the past. Now for the future, which is the project proposal. So the project proposal is essentially a revision of the work we've done over the last week or so. Your research questions, your problem statement, the significance of the problem, the assumptions, your research methodology. The time is now to roll that into a single document / text, which is due Friday at midnight. Essentially, this is a revision of that earlier material, so do revise it. Don't just copy and paste. I mean, you've done, I've seen a lot of very worthwhile stuff going on, and you've seen it in the others and what they've done. So take what you've learned by doing this work, giving feedback, getting feedback, and make everything better in whatever way it seems sense to make things better. So that will be good, and I would like that to happen. And so there's that. This step is worth but 50 points. From there, we will go on to a literature review / annotated bibliography, and then the final project. For those who want to do something a little different, I've given you the Comic Life approach. Since it's kind of an odd assignment, I'm giving you double points if you do that. You get up to 4 pages. You have opportunity to include images and that sort of thing. I provided a 1-page sample proposal using Comic Life, um, and I mentioned that when you the big deal, the distinction between the project Comic Life and the traditional approach is Comic Life you can have up to 50% images, but obviously the images need to be related. If you are writing about career opportunities and the need for higher education, I don't want to see a field of daisies as a for instance. In the Comic Life sample proposal, I have a picture of a back of a bus that says every lane is a bike lane or something like that. I did that in homage to this week being Bike to Work Week and the fact that I'm a bicyclist. So that back of the bus picture doesn't really, it's not really a piece of data that advances your argument, whereas there is a little chart showing carbon footprint information that is a piece of data that is not just kind of eye candy, that sort of thing. But the back of the bus is kind of eye candy, but it's related, appropriate eye candy. It's like an anecdote, the telling of a story sort of thing. It emphasizes multimodal transportation, the bus and bicycling, directed at cars. So it interacts with 3 main users of the road. It leaves out pedestrians, maybe others that I'm not thinking of right now. But anyway, so it fits. It's not just a random picture. So you want to have images like you get to have one kind of flashy image like that. The rest should be charts, graphs, images of things that sort of inform the argument as opposed to are just kind of neat looking and relate to the argument. So, and it's kind of fun. You'll have to distill the language down considerably, which is a good writing exercise. So this is not just kind of a screw around task. It will require you to choose the best of your best information to get a really succinct take on the prose you include, and you're going to have to think about the role played by images and how these images advance the discussion and that sort of thing. So while it's kind of fun and it's kind of a funky, maybe even weird or childish, who knows what you think, medium, it can still be fun, and there's still a lot to learn in this process of what we call remediation. So putting it into a different medium from one to another, and it requires you to do considerable thinking in that regard. So that's there for you. Happy to help you out, and I need to provide information I realized I didn't about finding appropriate sources that you can use without getting in trouble. So especially for images, graphs and that sort of thing are easy to use and not get in trouble with. Some images require a citation. We won't necessarily have a works cited page on this, but it is good to include that information always. So anyway, I'll give you more information on that as we go along. So if you have any questions, of course, let me know. I think I've been really pleased in seeing the way you are thinking as a group when I've given comments based on one step of the process or another, especially this last week. I can see at least what to me seems to be you following up on that and taking that information and applying it to your work, which is the kind of thing teachers really like to see, because then it's like, gee, my job, it's working. So anyhow, the screen just went blank. it's still working, but that's tells me that I've been talking for 10 minutes, and that's more than enough. So everybody have a good week. If you've got questions, let me know. One of you stopped by. You were on campus last week. That was great. Another person mentioned they were on campus and they had to drive 3.5 hours each way, which is good Lord. But you know, if you're on campus, stop by. I'm in Building 5, room 157, and after 10:30 in the morning, I'm usually sitting in this chair or close by doing the things I do. So take care. Have a good week. You got any questions? Let me know. Oh yeah, and I mentioned earlier Pixton as a possible comic approach, and I'm less enamored with that than I was earlier. My wife uses it with her students who go up to the 5th grade, and I'm just not as sure about it as I am Comic Life. But if you want to try that, I did create an account for myself, and I can help you with that a little bit. I can help you more with Comic Life. And anyhow, take care. Have a good week. Let me know how I can help. And if you come by on campus, stop in, say hi, have a chat. Bye-bye.